If you want to take your photography to the next level, then stop just taking pictures. Start learning from painters, filmmakers, live performers to transform the way you see the world and the way you capture it. Today we're exploring how studying other art forms can really elevate your photography. From the composition of painting, the storytelling of cinema, and the energy to live performance. Bonjour, welcome to your home for your creativity and your well-being. Today we're talking about how to elevate your photography. I really think the 3 chapters are very different and can beneficiate you a lot, so stay until the end of the video. And I'll also explain to you how to apply those lessons into your photography. So chapter 1, why painters inspire photographers? Long before the camera, the painters were the original image maker. And for the really good painters, they were mastering exactly the same thing that we try to master as photographers: the composition, the color, and the lighting. What I love about paintings is that it really teaches you how to see, not just to look. And we're gonna start with the Lascaux cave painting in France. That's one of the most amazing examples because that was where early humans were using pigments and firelight to bring animals to life on stone walls. So what can you learn from the Lascaux cave painting? Light and shadow create motion and emotion, even with extra simple forms and extra limited colors. Every image starts with intent, to tell a story, to just show what was happening there. The second one, and I hope I'll pronounce it well, sorry for the Italian friends here, Artemisia Gentileschi. He used just a lot of dramatic lights. And what you can learn from those paintings is how to use the light and the shadows to reveal strength and emotion. I really think it's a good lesson for every photographer, but mostly like the portrait photographers, because it shows like how light and shadow can really shape power and narrative. The third one I wanted to show you, because it's drastically different, is Claude Monet. Obviously here we are less about people, but more about atmosphere and nature. What you learn here, the light is never static. All the painting can be quite similar, but in reality they are drastically different. The great lesson from Claude Monet, the light is never static and it can change completely the color and the shadow and the lighting of your photography. When you look into more than one painting, you can really see how the season and how the color change into nature and how it influences the painting. He clearly uses natural light to express emotion and not just illuminating one subject. I showed a lot of people in natural light, and this inspired me a lot about the softness on the skin, the softness about my background, and the softness tone into the light of every season. The fourth one I wanted to share with you is Ellen Frankenthaler. Again, I hope I pronounce it well. So her style is quite abstract. What we can learn is to really let the color speak. Sometimes less is more. As a photographer, this one is a bit more subtle, but for me, her work really inspired me when I kind of need to convey a mood and I need to work out which exposure I'm gonna choose, or maybe even in the post-production, which color grading I'm gonna use, because color is so powerful. So here is the key lesson for you photographers. Study color and contrast, and there's no better way to study it than from the paintings, because emotion often lie in hue and tone. Then shape your light with purpose. I shoot a lot in natural light, but there is so many things you can do. You can change your subject, you can change your angle. I actually did a video about how mastering photography in natural light, so if you want to have a look, click in the link above and that's gonna take you there. And the third one is compose with intention. Every frame should tell a story, and that is a good transition to the second part, why cinema inspired photography. This is my favorite section. I love cinema, and cinema just expand what painting started, which means turning still images into moving stories. For photographers, film offers a lesson in timing, rhythm, and frame, how a single frame can tell a story inside a bigger one. And it's really like painters. Each director uses light, composition, and color to control emotion and narrative. I'm gonna take 3 films. It's extremely hard. I don't even know if I can give you my top 50 films because I see so many movies and I love movies so much, but just those 3 to convey my idea. The first one is a Disney, is the Aristocats. I feel like it was a good one to pick because it's a nice transition from painting to cinema. There's a hand painting, drawing, and background in this animated movie, and there is very bold colors and design, but it also shows how animating characters can really exaggerate and show an intention and and a story. What to learn here is really how to use a playful framing and a playful rhythm. It's really important to not fear stylization. And this is what animated movie does so well, especially those early Disney where everything was exaggerated, from the movement, from the eyes, from the music. It's a really good lesson as photographers to feel like we can exaggerate sometimes to give an emotion. Remember, photography is still images, so it's harder to communicate a message because we don't have the music, we don't have the timing. Exaggerating things can also be a way to express something into your photography. The second movie I wanted to share with you today is La La Land, and why it matters. It's a modern musical where the color and the choreography bring the emotions together. Something to absolutely learn from this movie is how the color drive emotion. Throughout the whole movie, they use the blue and the purple to really bring the melancholy feeling. And sometimes when they add a bit of yellow, it's to bring some warmth. Then the planned sequences are insane in this movie. And just to slow down time and to tell the story, that can really inspire you about how you flow and how you give time when you take a photography. Think rhythm and flow. And the third one is framing movement within stillness. I love this idea because I photograph a lot of movements. Those movies are extremely great for photographers like me, how to frame the movement so well. Obviously, in this film, the choreography drives the movie, but it's a good lesson for you. Imagine that every images can dance in a way. Third movie is RRR, and this one definitely on my top 20. This is a drama, this is a heavy and a very high emotional movie. And why it matters, the scale is epic. There is a lot of dynamic motion and there is a really strong expressive light. Think about cinematic composition, the depth, the scale and the motion. Sometimes in photo we are too narrowed down into one subject. You're gonna tell more of a story sometime when you zoom out and you think bigger scale. The second point is to capture the energy and the intensity through contrast and the angles. They use a lot of different angles, they use a lot of different contrasts in this movie, and I feel like the intensity of the film, obviously it's brought by the actors and the music. The music is incredible, but also through the work that they've done into the art direction. And the third one, which I think is the most impactful in this movie, is to let the emotion drive action. This is a drama movie, it's very deep, it's very emotional. That leads all the action, all the dance. Some key lesson for the photographers. Frame your photo with story and rhythm. It's not because it's still that it doesn't have to have rhythm, because every shot connects usually with a larger narrative. The second one is really use the color and the light to express emotion. And the third one is think cinematically. Motion, energy and timing really make still images feel alive. And the third and last inspiration for you photographers are the live performances. This one is a bit more out there and yet it's an extremely powerful one. And this one I'm gonna take it into a very niche, which are the musical. I love musical theater because they transform a single stage into countless worlds. Instead of changing location, they use lighting, color, music. For photographer, honestly, it's a masterpiece in creating atmosphere and creating a storytelling within limits. One space, but changing moods. And that can be super useful when you are limited with your space, when you are limited with your time, but you plan to change things to tell more stories, to take more photos. Timing, gesture, lighting need to come together to make the audience feel something. I'll take just a few examples to illustrate what I'm sharing. The first one will be The Lion King. Why? Because I've seen it 4 times in London. Absolutely love it, and it was the first musical I've seen in this city, so it's just very close to my heart. A single stage become the entire Lion King movie. You don't need a new location to change the mood. The emotion really comes from presence and not from scale. At some point there's a really epic scene in a movie and you're just gonna say how they're gonna make it feel on stage, and you just make it in a way with shaping the light, with bringing the music with intensity, with playing with the scale to have a smaller thing on the back and then surprising you with something quite big in the foreground, make you feel the emotion. One subject can really feel epic with the right lighting, the right movement and the right placement. The second one I wanted to mention is Showstopper. Now this is a very special because it's an improvised musical. The one I've seen in London, they were all dressed in black. They had a few props which was like big boxes in black and red, and that's it. Everything was live, everything was improvised. Which really inspired me in this one is that you can really anticipate the emotion, but not really the action. And when you photograph live moments, I photograph a lot of yoga retreats, of yoga events, dance show, and there is so many things that happens on the spot that you are not aware of. You don't know how the people will behave, you don't know how the whole group will feel, and it's really interesting to read into the body language and to adapt also yourself and your frame to the situation that's in front of you. Not everything can be anticipated. The limitation fuel creativity. When you have few props and few colors, you just need to bring the world into you more, not limited by having certain props or certain color, because you need to come with ideas, you need to be creative, you need to express yourself in certain way. And I feel like when you are limited with lighting or the place you need to shoot, like I'm recording this YouTube video in my room because I don't really have other choices. I work hours and days to try to find the angle that will work because I need to make it sustainable, because I need to record more than one video, and also I want to make it quite professional. And it took me days, but then when you have a little space, you just need to create in this bubble and you don't have to think about it because you don't have a choice. So the key lesson for photographers from live performance, lighting can really change the whole mood of your photography, of your work, and of your story, even if it's in the same space. Really embrace the limitation. Sometimes it's hard, but sometimes it is a blessing. Then anticipate emotion. Try to see on the go, try to feel people, try to feel the energy as well. As much as you plan your photo shoot, it's very important to tune in live in the moment and think like a stage director. Every element in a frame, in your theater, supports your story. Let me know if you liked this video, if it was useful for you. Please like and subscribe because it's gonna really help my channel to grow and to make more videos for you. I would love to see what inspires you in your photography. Maybe we want to share with your community and just have a discussion in the comments. So please drop this comment below. And if you want more hands-on photography tips, you can check out my video on the Kodak camera review, which is just the cutest camera ever. I've done a review for you just at the end of the video. And otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.